Broadcasting live from the Business RadioX studios in Phoenix, Arizona, it's time for Phoenix Business Radio, spotlighting the city's best businesses and the people who lead them.
Hello and welcome to Phoenix Business Radio, broadcasting live from Tempe, Arizona in the Max 6 Entrepreneurial Center right here in sunny Arizona. And I am very excited to bring to you three professionals today who I feel like the odd man out because they've known each other forever, but that's always fun. And I have a co-host with me today. Derrick, welcome back to the studio.
Thank you very much, Karen.
And you've got, I'm going to say, a fairly new role with the PMO Squad.
Yes, very excited. Joined PMO Joe at the PMO Squad in September. We've been really getting out there in the community and doing some great things.
So tell us who is the PMO Squad and what is your role with them?
Yes, so the PMO Squad's been around for about 8 years, started by PMO Joe, who runs also office hours here at Business RadioX. He brought me on in September as the Director of Sales and Business Development. And my role is to get to make awareness of what we do at the PMO Squad, which is project program management, and really looking at companies like who we have here, Servgrow, and help them grow and plan for the future.
I'm going to brag about Joe for a second, and hopefully he's listening. If not live, I know he will be listening to the podcast later. But so he's been, as you mentioned, a host of his own show, Project Management Office Hours, for, I think we're now in our 4th year. And I've only owned the studio about 3 or 4 months ahead of Joe becoming one of my first hosts. And as he tells the story, he's like, I don't know why I wanted to work with you, but my wife said, trust her and just go do it. So he did. And the rest is history. And to watch his career, and equally important, to watch the PMO Squad grow on an international level because of the platform that we've given him here to just talk about, project management and help elevate everybody in that industry has been phenomenal. And so, Joe, thank you so much for continuing to bring me great people that you play in your circle. And I just have so enjoyed watching his team grow. It's been phenomenal. Now, tell us briefly, Derrick, about your background and introduce our guests and how y'all have connected.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Arizona native. I was born in New York, but grew up here in Phoenix. Was introduced to Tim and Randy at an early age of 14, 15 years old. We started playing soccer together on the same team, the Cisco Monarchs. Although Randy and Tim went to Cactus and I went to Brophy, we got to play against each other in high school. And then grew over time. I was able to coach their kids. And then, we've been playing together men's league as well. Randy and I play men's league over 40s. So I'm excited to have them here. Randy's the CEO and owner of a company called Servgrow, which is a startup company in the service space, but also owns a couple other companies. He'll tell you a little bit more about his entrepreneurial spirit. And then Tim is the sales director for Servgrow and a good buddy of mine.
Great introductions, huh?
Wonderful. It was, except he missed the part where we beat him.
Yeah, I think he told me ahead of time that was going to come up.
It might come up.
To slip that
I'm not going to bring it up. But.
I do. I think that's exactly what you said. And hey, we're 3 minutes in. Good. I wish I'd put money on that. Yeah. So good. So for those of you who can't see the video and you're just catching this via audio, Tim is on the screen in the studio, and I don't face the screen. So my apologies to Tim. You'll just have to listen to my voice. But could we start with you, please, since you don't have the advantage of being in here with us today, and tell us a little bit about yourself and how you found your way to work with Randy?
Yeah, well, I was born and raised here in the Phoenix area. Just like Derrick mentioned, we kind of all grew up playing soccer, and that's where I met Randy initially. I think Derrick and I, we all played on different teams in our early years. And so we were actually all competitors at some point early on in our soccer careers as kids. And then when we all got into high school, we all kind of came together and played really on what was an all-star team here locally. And so that's how I met Derrick and Randy. But Randy and I actually went to high school together, and that's when we started becoming pretty close friends, and won three state soccer championships together. And Derrick will remind us that we were in a lower class division as than what Brophy was, but we're still proud of our 3 state championships. And then I went on to play at UNLV and played soccer there for a little bit and enjoyed my time there. And once I was done with my soccer career, that's when my professional career started. And I've kind of worn quite a few different hats. But my biggest job when I left playing soccer was working for a wireless company that we grew from 20 locations to over 2,000 locations in 8 years. And so I went all over the country, hiring staff, salespeople, management structure, and just having a great time, kind of seeing the whole country during this rollout. And Randy and I got to reconnect during that time period. And Randy actually worked for the same company and was a national trainer and went all over the country training different sales staff and management teams as well. And then him and I kind of went our separate ways. And Randy had started some businesses. I had started my own business, and we kind of done our own thing for a while. And then about a year ago, Randy came to me and with this idea with Servgrow, and I loved it. I thought it was just an amazing opportunity, and so we came back together to start Servgrow.
Fantastic. I can't help but think, as you're talking about your years of travel and building this digital or wireless retail company, have you thought of the folks who are traveling or used to travel? Have you reflected back on that? I'm assuming that you don't travel as much anymore, Tim.
No, it was great back then. I was single, no kids. They would just tell us, "Hey, you're going to Florida for 2 weeks," and we would just go.
Yeah.
They moved me a couple different times. I lived in Kansas City for a little over a year, lived in Baltimore for a little over a year, and then traveled all over the U.S. And so for me, it was a great time period in my single life to kind of do that and be able to just to travel the U.S. on a whim and do it on someone else's dime, which was great. But I'm happy to have that past me now. I like to have my feet on the ground here in Arizona.
Yeah, and those folks who are still doing that for their livelihood and have had to find a different way to connect with people and serve their clients, or even catch up with their teams and not travel due to COVID is just so fascinating. This far into it, right? We're over a year into it. I still think of different industries and professions like a traveling salesperson or even a team manager who has, how many, 2,000 different locations, as you mentioned, Tim, and are an integral part of that growth. You've got to do some travel, but thank goodness for Zoom and Meet, all the Microsoft Meet and that sort of stuff. So, well, thank you for a fantastic introduction. And Randy, now it's your turn. Tell us about you and the other businesses that you have and how you led yourself to Servgrow.
Okay. Well, pretty much covered everything with the soccer and all ending up on the same team. And once went to college, went to GCU, was picked up by the Arizona Sand Sharks, which was a professional indoor team here. Did the professional indoor soccer. This was pre-MLS. Did the Sacramento, Chicago. Took a brief, hiatus from playing soccer. Tried the corporate lifestyle with Tim, and that's when we were when I was a national trainer, similar to what Tim was doing, with traveling all over the country and figuring out the best ways to clean up a market or find their problems, fix their problems. So did that for a couple years and really just it wasn't for me. So I went back to playing soccer, and then in 2008 retired after my wife had our first baby, and she said I could no longer play soccer anymore because she was at home and I was flying out to New York or Orlando, and I totally understand. So retired from soccer, and I started my first company, which was Extra Man Fundraising, and it was in the space of fundraising cards in 2007. And that was great. It was we didn't reinvent the wheel. It was just, hey, it was out there. There was space. There was need for it, and we just made a product better, which was fundraising cards. You've probably bought one before, where somebody comes up to your door and we're online, and here's $20 card. You get all these discounts, and that was great, and it's still great. Although with the pandemic, it took a little bit of slowdown, but it's getting back there. But the one thing that led me to right before Servgrow, which was we were paying a lot of money in Google advertising. So I just went on a kind of a self-learning. How are these companies up there that aren't paying for Google ads? And we're shoveling $3,000 something a month, and they're up there for nothing. So took a little bit of time to kind of learn that process and get Extra Man Fundraising up there. And within a year or something, they were up there organically ranking. And with that knowledge of being able to do that for one of my businesses, that led to, friends and family going, hey, can you do this for me? And that led to one thing to another. And now with that company, we have a little over 200 clients nationwide, and with that has stemmed off starting other businesses, auto glass and other companies that we would be able to start, generate some organic traffic. And once I was able to find out, okay, this is a pretty good model for that sales funnel to keep flowing in every month. There's just business coming in. It led to bringing on, I would say, 5 or 6 or a handful of SaaS companies, software for service, and that really opened my eyes to, okay, this is where it's going with being in this industry. This is developing software, finding a need for a software as a service. So I did a little outreach to some of my clients, which I'd probably say about 60-70% are in the home service industry, HVAC, pest control, just any type of home services, pool builders, pool service, and asked them what, do they use software, and if they did, what type of software do they use? A lot of them were, we don't use software yet, but their immediate next sentence was, we know that we're going to have to start using it. So at first it was, okay, I'm going to start building this to entice some clients to come on. Hey, we'll help you with organic rankings, but we also have this software that you can use and leverage. And that evolved over, I'd probably say a good 6 or 7 or 8 months into doing a little bit more research and finding that under 4% of home service companies, they don't use software at all. And with research and a little bit of talking with not only my clients, but other outside businesses that weren't my clients, they almost 100% of them said they know they will have to get on it and will be on it within a few years. So that's what led to the birth of Servgrow. And it was really good timing with Tim, because with a couple of his businesses, not good timing, but what he was going through with one of his companies was a little bit of slowdown. And with Servgrow starting, I knew I needed somebody with experience to really grow a sales team. And with our history of that, of just knowing what he did and his personality and just who he was, it was just a perfect fit to bring him on board and kind of make him a part of Servgrow.
Fantastic. Derrick, I'm curious. So you are the one, and Joe initially, by the way, he's already texted me and said he's listening. So thank you, Joe.
Hey, Joe.
Hi, Joe. You and Joe both said, you've got to have these guys on. Tell me, I'm hearing it, but from your perspective, I get the history, I get the camaraderie and, the competition and, of course, teammates and the professional athlete aspect. But why Servgrow? Why these guys? What appeals to you about what they're doing?
Yeah, it's really around people, right? And so, we were introduced, again to Servgrow and really what they're trying to do in the service industry. And they're really trying to digitally transform the service industry. And so Joe and I's background, you look at both of us PMO directors, senior consultants at large enterprise companies, those fancy things all boil down to customer journey and people. And so when we looked at and we heard Tim and Randy talk about what they want to do for the industry and really digitally transform the industry, it fits really two of the PMO Squad's major kind of personas, right? We believe in people over process and outcomes over audits. And what this does is it allows people to focus on people and to focus on providing great outcomes. So it was a perfect match and a fit to hear what they want to do and how they want to grow.
And the growth is already so fast.
Yeah, it's great. And one of the best things about PMO Squad, and I didn't know about PMO Squad until it was after one of our games on Sunday, and I knew Derrick was in the industry, and we have been using a really good development company that has handled everything. They've been great, but they're based in Belarus in Ukraine, and they've been great. But it was a little thing just that I wanted to make sure that even though the team's great, you still want that security, and you want to know that you can trust that development team. And when I talked with Derrick, I knew I had it all in one. I knew Derrick, just our past relationship, it's somebody, okay, we can definitely trust. And then meeting the team, the PMO Squad, and Joe, and it was, they just kind of reassured that trust of, okay, this is the right direction that we know we eventually have to go, whether it's migrating away from them 100% or slowly migrating away from my current team to the PMO Squad. It was just something that we know needs to happen. And then now it's just, okay, at what level and what pace.
Yeah, and these guys are like teammates, right? And what's really great about kind of looking at, teammates or people and kind of the perspective that the PMO Squad looks at it is that it's a team that's always improving and optimizing. And so as they go down the path today, what is tomorrow going to look like and the next week and the next year? And so that's really what was great. But Tim and Randy, I think, there's other things that you guys enjoy doing, in terms of serving. And I think it's really, I think, the marketing side that I was very impressed with in terms of the Servgrow platform and product. So I'd love you to talk a little bit more, Randy, about kind of the marketing side that kind of, I think, is hidden in a lot of SaaS applications. They don't really have it built in the way that Servgrow does, that it's thinking about how do we reach those customers? So the B2B and then the B2C, it's all kind of part of the platform, whereas it's not separated out. It's all in one.
Yeah, well, that was one of the reasons that has led me to start a few companies is the ability for organic growth to provide that steady flow of business that comes through your door. And when I was looking up other, competition and what we could do with Servgrow as far as reaching our target audience, there were so many areas, whether it's content marketing and then ranking that content. We have probably a little over 100 and something visitors a day that come to our website from content marketing, and it's, whether it's targeting HVAC slogans. If you were to Google HVAC slogans or handyman slogans or something, Servgrow's number one with an article that talks about handyman slogans. And if you're probably Googling pest control slogans or HVAC license, how to get one, you're probably an owner or a manager in the company or going to start the company. And so we get that audience into our website through a lot of that content marketing, and that really cuts advertising spend, so you don't have to rely on the traditional, whether we're going to Capterra or these pay-per-click leads or pay-per-lead avenues, organic research or organic traffic has really benefited us as far as the people that are out there looking for a type of software, not only ranking for what our audience is going to be looking for, but even ranking for software alone. Within, I think, 8 months, we're all over page 1 or 2 for HVAC software or carpet cleaning software stuff, our target audience. So,
and we wouldn't expect that business owner to have to know what you've learned, right? I mean, the pool guy or gal who's running 5 or 6 trucks or more than that, whatever, or the house cleaning company or any of those, trades, home-based services, they got to focus on building the business. But there's so many different hats that they have to wear, managing their team and making sure the numbers are right and acquiring new clients and serving their customers well. If they're like me, all of this other digital stuff, it's kind of like, I know it's important, but it changes so quickly. And the strategies, I think, also shift as digital marketing grows. I need someone like you guys to do that for me so that again, back to the point that Derrick was making, that I can trust, or you made it, Randy, that I can trust that you're going to help me get where I need to go. So this is neat to talk about this specific marketing piece. But Servgrow is more than Servgrow is just more than that, right? It's also software to manage the business as well.
Yeah, and Tim will probably touch a little bit more on the grow portion, but that's something that I wanted to make sure is our competitors have the serve part down, and so we're not reinventing the serve part. It's going to help them manage their schedule, do on-my-way text messaging, checklists before, really manage and schedule and streamline their business operations. But we wanted to incorporate something that I've been doing in our other businesses, which is help them to grow their business and bring in business customers that can actually help pay for the software, and then more. And Tim will cover a little bit of the growth things that we are incorporating within the software to really separate us from our competitors. That's the big piece that's really going to help us separate. Tim, you want to talk a little bit about the grow?
Yeah, the software in general, when Randy and I first started talking about it, he was talking to me about it, I got excited about, is just how it helps put so many different hats that a small business owner wears into the palm of their hands, and it helps eliminate labor costs in some instances. Someone that might hire someone in their office to handle a proposal or handle invoicing, or to handle reminders in particular. Servgrow software is gonna handle all those things with a couple of clicks from their PC or their phone. I own a catering business as well, and I was still using Excel. I was using Excel and doing sending an invoice through Square. And I keep my Excel spreadsheet, and it's got my dates on there, and but what Servgrow allows me to do now is I can set up a proposal, and that proposal will get sent to the customer automatically. That customer can look at it, they can approve it, they can sign right on their phone approving the proposal, which turns into a job within our system. And then they get automatic reminders. I think we probably all have experienced at some point in time, you've hired a pest control guy to come by, and, they're supposed to come by at 10 a.m., to your home, and in your busy schedule, you forget, oh, shoot, I forgot I hired the pest control guy. It's going to be there at 10 a.m. Well, our software will allow an automatic text message, email to be sent to a customer saying, hey, this is a reminder that Derrick's going to be at your house to do pest control tomorrow at 10 a.m. And so even the day of, our software will allow an on my way message saying, hey, our technician is on their way to your home, should be there in 30 to 45 minutes, and even be able to track where that technician is in the valley and how much longer it's going to take them to get to their home. So it really helps a small business put together a big business space and make customers feel comfortable that, hey, you know what, these guys are on top of it. I've got online billing, I've got an online proposal. They're letting me know they're on their way. They're constantly communicating with me, which is a big part that helps create a rapport with the customer. And again, the Servgrow software handles all that with a couple clicks from their smartphone.
It's brilliant.
It's great. Yeah, and that's one of the reasons we need a good PMO squad here.
Yeah.
Right, to help you all manage the growth, right? And there's so many projects and so many different aspects of this.
Yeah, we're seeing so many of our customers at the PMO squad really look at insight from data. And until you have a platform that can start providing that data, you're missing out on opportunities, right, to connect with your customer. And so, that's one of the other things that is really, I think, important is, looking at the purpose, right? Purpose of Servgrow, or purpose of any project. So, PMO Squad, we deliver projects. So the purpose, right, is really service oriented. And the purpose is to drive value immediately, right? So you're looking at something that drives value on day 1, day 2, day 3, all the way through. And you can measure the value in what Tim was talking about, which is labor. It's time doing things, right? Taking away time in doing things that doesn't actually measure in your bottom line, right? So doing all those administrative tasks or sending a reminder out or reminding those things, it allows the staff to be able to do things and measure transactions that are really valuable. And then optimization. So like you can now, there's upgrades and options that you can do to optimize. And you can optimize now when you have a platform like a SaaS platform like this, you can start optimizing quarter by quarter or month by month your team. So you bring them up on the platform instead of onboarding, one person, every week or one person every year, you can onboard people really quickly, right? Tim was talking about mobile access, having mobile access. That's one of the key factors that we see. Yeah. One of our larger clients is implementing a new ERP system that is customized to the MSP space, so the managed service provider infrastructure space. And it's a 10-year project. But what it does is it replaces a system that can't audit and provide the compliance that this company needs. And they need it within 24 months. So they need to do it quickly, right? It's quick compliance. It's ability to see the transparency, right, of the service to the client. And I think that's where this provides that continuum.
It's all in one bucket. It's all in one place. Instead of, and Tim kind of alluded to this, instead of having, Excel spreadsheets, I hear you on that, my friend, that's how I do this. And then I've got this, software that does this or this and that. And I hired this company for that. And just adding more chaos to what we're doing as business owners. What a great joy for the customers that you're serving and to watch this grow. E-Myth by Michael Gerber keeps showing up for me as an example of I don't know if any of you have read that, and then also the work that Michael, what's his last name? Makowitz, the Profit First author. He's been on with us a couple of times, but it's this whole idea around why complicate things. Let's simplify. And what Joe has taught me in so many shows that I've listened to over the last 3 years is that it is about people and communication, but you've also got to have the process, right? To make it ease and flow and be able to look at the data and be able to have it tell you something, right? We want to know what we're doing as we do it. And that's the service that you guys provide your customers. Tim, talk to us about avenues for customer acquisition. Have we already touched on that?
Yeah, I think Randy started talking about it with, just organic, being organic searches and just being part of that, that realm of people that are searching for something in particular and finding us through key search words. But, other ways that, I don't think we'll completely go away from, some of the other avenues like Facebook ads, pay-per-click and Google. But, I think another great way for us to attract customers is trying to find other companies that are currently selling to our current customers.
Yes.
And partnering with those kinds of companies. So we're not out there trying to search to find our ideal customer. We're just kind of partnering with.
And who are those companies?
You got companies like supply houses, plumbing supply houses, HVAC supply houses. These people were these business owners and managers that are our target clients. They've got all these customers walking through their door every single day. So partnering with companies like that, there's one of our target customers is just a new business, right? Someone that's just decided, hey, I'll start my own plumbing company. I want to start my own pest control company. Well, those require licenses. And there's companies out there, here in the Phoenix area, there's 7 different companies that currently have schools that take people through a 3 to 4 week class and teach them how to pass their exams from the state to get their proper license for their industry. And so partnering with companies like that that again are already selling to our ideal customer, offering some sort of commission or vig for them to bring on a client. But again, they've already got a captive audience that's our target audience. So partnering with companies that not like that are already talking to our ideal customers, something that we're going to be focusing on quite a bit.
That's very smart. How about associations, like trade associations and those sorts of groups?
Exactly. That's a perfect one.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. So, typically your cost for acquisition will be so much lower when you're already talking to someone that is your target customer versus just going out there and throwing darts at a board.
Right.
So again, I think that'll be part of our primary focus is working with some companies and not only here locally, but nationwide, that are already talking to our current customers.
And given the nature of your business, are you already serving clients outside of Arizona? It doesn't have to be Arizona-based.
Yes, we have, I'd probably say we have close to over, on the software, we haven't launched yet, but we launched once the mobile app is ready, which is probably a month out. But we probably a little over a couple dozen on it, just using it. And that's from whether it's just people signing up from organic search, you can go on and get a couple of weeks free trial, to contacts that we have. I haven't brought any of my clients on because I'm wanting to make sure it's 100% or not. It'll never be 100%, but dialed in with the mobile app before I get them on. But we have people on there using it right now. Yes.
I love hearing that. It's often we have folks who have a concept or they're in kind of launch mode or soft launch, and while they're professionals, oftentimes they talk about their business still as it's an idea and it's this concept in their mind, even though it's actually out there. This is truly, I think, the first time that I've listened to professionals. All along, I thought this has been years. So this is really fantastic to have you speak it into existence, and it's already there, right? You're just really managing it effectively for your customers and with that growth in mind, which is a great segue for us to talk a little bit about your first seed round. Can you talk a little bit about how you plan to use that capital, and if there's any other thoughts around raising more?
Well, and that was one of the discussions that led us to the PMO Squad and Derrick, was we knew we were going to get a seed round. We had a lot of interest for it. And from since conception, I've been bootstrapping the entire project. So the seed round is great. And did we really need it? I don't think we needed it for anything specific except for advanced development. Let's develop the grow portion. And so the serve portion is the service part, streamline the company. And then the grow portion is what we'll be using the seed round for, and customer acquisition. The thing with having a few businesses, we have office space, we have stuff, so we don't have a lot of overhead, and we can use that capital to just advanced development. Like the grow portion will be implementing things that my clients pay for, whether it's review management. We have clients, we actually white label a product that costs us about $60 a month for our clients individually that allows them to send reviews, invitations, review management, to manage those reviews, listings management, a bunch of other features that they can eliminate from paying out. They can just roll. We're going to roll into our software. So and that's one of the things that has led us to, hey, let's start, the PMO Squad talk and let's see what we can do to really advance that development.
Yeah, with the market opportunity, it's kind of a no-brainer. And what we do is we take that that passion that Tim and that Randy have in those customers and their experiences, and then we put together and work on, okay, what do enhancements to the platform look like? What do releases look like? And we focus on delivery. And so that then gives those folks that are investing, or those folks that are thinking about investing, gives them a roadmap that has deliverables, it has market value, right, that they can then bank on. They said, oh, in next month or the month after, we're going to get this feature, and this feature is going to drive customer acquisition in X amount. And so it's really then taking that passion and that experience and optimizing it from a delivery perspective. And that's what we're excited about.
I don't think we could overemphasize how critical it is to make sure that as you're growing, that your investors are seeing the projection as well as the success, right? Every investor we've had, and angel investors and larger conglomerates and that sort of thing, every time when they're in here, they're like, listen, it's not always about the money. Mm-hmm. We need to trust and like and really rally behind the people who are doing the work. And we have to know that there's that payout. So how great that that's part of what PMO Squad is going to help provide is this visual, right? That's how I'm hearing you say it. Mm-hmm. This opportunity to say, look, this is where we're headed. And have everybody, all the stakeholders nodding their head, yes, this is it, right? We're part of Conscious Capitalism Arizona. And it's that conversation around making sure that everybody is informed, everybody's involved, and everybody feels good about the relationships, from customers to suppliers to partners to everybody in between, employees. It sounds like you guys have a magical, the beginning of a magical business.
Yeah, and it's great when you have a history that we have together. It really does make you feel a little bit more at ease. And when you can relay that relationship to your investors, that, okay, this is somebody we've known for almost, 30, I don't want to say,
I don't want to say,
cough,
like 10 years. No. But it's that relationship and knowing the talent there, because the relationship could be there, but if the talent on the development side or the project management side is not there, then it's, you can't, both of them have to, the talent is there and you got the relationship. It just makes things so much easier all around for everybody.
And bringing that stateside too makes a difference.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
I had a team working for me in the Philippines, and while I trusted them and felt comfortable and the price point was beautiful, it feels much better to have it stateside for me, just because I feel like I have that relationship a little bit strengthened. Not everybody can make that choice, and there's a lot of pros and cons for working with companies in and outside the U.S. But I hear you on how great that feels to have Derrick and the team on board with you. Let's shift gears just a little bit. I can't help but continue to think about playing soccer and being athletes and professional athletes at that. It's funny, I've never thought about myself. I was a college cheerleader, which was, I was an athlete in college, but I've never really made that connection, because soccer or football or baseball or whatever that sport is that, we all kind of rally around, I always think of other people doing that. I'm like, oh my gosh, I spent 4 years doing that myself. What? And I know it's played a huge role in my life for everything that I've become, the things that I love and some of the things that I still like. But tell me, from all three of you, where does having been an athlete, how do you think that's influenced you as a business owner and as just a great professional? Derrick, let's start with you.
Sure. Yeah, I think, I kind of, was introduced to you through Joe around how I've taken not just being a player, but being a coach, those experiences, and then applying them to my business. And so, from a coaching perspective, you look at all the players and you try to put them in the right position to succeed. If you're a good coach, you're looking at that all the time. As a player, you're always trying to find out, how can I increase my skills? How can I get better? So you can kind of look at a situation, whether it be a business partner, like Tim was talking about, alliances. How do we help each other out? What are the things that we can do? And then I think also, and these guys will attest to it, you fail a lot as an athlete. I mean, as a pro, I was drafted out of college in the first MLS draft, 12th in the country. And by the end of the year, I was fired in China. So we were in China and I was released.
The
and then
highs
I'm
and the lows.
You're up high one day and then you're down low the next day. But you have that group around you, right? Especially if you're working with other either athletes or people that are in these high performance situations. And I relay that high performance situation to running a business, right? You're waking up in the morning and you're checking on things, and you're kind of, if you're doing it right, you're looking for feedback, right? You're looking for that feedback, whether you're in practice or whether you're in the game, you're looking for those feedback loops. And so I think for me, it's comfortable when you're around folks that are okay with, coaching and okay with that feedback on a situation, on an activity, because they know that, hey, we're going to prepare you for, and we're going to practice, and then we're going to go ahead and go get into the game, and we're going to learn from the game, and then we're going to move on. And I think that's kind of that continuum that we do, with our customers at the PMO Squad, as we look every 90 days at optimizing the playbook, right? We look at purpose, we look at measurement, and then we optimize that playbook. We make sure we have the right people in the right positions, and that we're also training, right? Training is so important. And so I think that's what I align with Tim and with Randy. As Tim mentioned, we were competitors. We were fighting on the field against each other until we were on the same team. And then once we were on the same team, wow, we knew each other's strengths and weaknesses, and we could really excel.
Yeah, for the full story on Derrick and how that all fits in project management, find Project Management Office Hours on your favorite podcast platform or right on Business RadioX. And Derrick, is it Brownell? Is that how I pronounce your last name?
Mm-hmm. Brownell.
Yeah, Brownell. Great interview. It's been a couple years.
Wow.
I think, right?
Yes.
Since you were on with Joe when we
goodness.
first had a chance to meet, but a far lengthier and more important conversation around how that has worked for Derrick in his professional life. How about either of you, Randy or Tim? What would you add to that, or what's your personal take on how being an athlete growing up and through your high school or college years and beyond has benefited you in your professional life?
Yeah, I would say even looking back, I don't think I realized it at the time when you're around just such a diverse group, and you're around them 2 to 3 to 6, 7 hours a day, whether you're going on a trip every weekend and you're on a plane, and you have to one, make sure everybody you're getting along with everybody, and that's just a natural thing. You're creating dialogue. You're in a hotel room and you're on your roommates, and guess what? You have dialogue the entire day, the entire night while you're waiting for a game. And then you get moved to another team, and you have to now make relationships with them, and you have to have the same dialogue back and forth. I think what it really led to was probably one of the most important aspects when you own a business, or when you're like your role with the PMO Squad. I think it really comes into play when you have to sell what you're trying to have that customer or client buy. Selling that and making sure that you relay that message, and people have to trust you, and they can see a car salesman, no offense, but they can see a car salesman attitude a mile away. And if you don't have that just natural way to deliver your sales pitch or build that relationship, I think building relationships is probably one of the biggest things that you can take away, that you look back now and go, you had to build relationships all day long on a team.
Right
where
away.
you get taken out in practice, or, so yeah, I think that had a really, that probably is what I take away the most from it, the team aspect and building those relationships and forming a team.
Tim, how about you?
Yeah, I think, when you're in the midst of it, in your early years playing a sport like soccer, like we all did, you're not really thinking at the time how this is molding you for your future. But for me personally, and I think it was just an integral part of what kind of made me an entrepreneur today, was being a part of a team growing up. I mean, it just teaches you got to have thick skin. You got to, be able to roll with the punches and be flexible. There's times where you're gonna get thumped and lose a game, but you got to just suit up again and practice hard that next week, because you got another game coming up. And it's really the same in business. You're gonna have some ups and downs. You got to be flexible. You got to be able to persevere. And probably the most important thing that I probably learned is, you got to play your role on the team, and you got to follow through and do it, because you got people that are relying on you to do your job. And if everyone comes together and does their job well, you're going to have some success. And so I think we learned all of that through playing soccer for our businesses.
I mentioned a couple of books that I thought of while we're chatting, because your story and the way in which you approach life and business sounds familiar to me. Is there a book that you're currently reading, or just a favorite book that's kind of your go-to around either life or business? Any of you?
I guess for me, even more recently now, my daughter is ready to go off to college. And so she'll be leaving us in the fall. We'll be empty nesters. And when I'm trying to relate to my daughter, and dads and moms that have daughters, teenage daughters, it's kind of an interesting opportunity to connect, right? And in every way. And so there's a book called Strong Fathers, Strong Daughters by Meg Meager. And I've been reading it for the past 5 years, I would say. So I've read it probably 3, 4, 5 times. And each chapter I read, I'll go back to certain chapters to kind of just reinforce, my role with her as, her father, her first love, right?
Yes.
Outside of boyfriends and all those kinds of things. So that one helps me to kind of reconnect with her. I think from a professional perspective, I read, we've been reading the EOS, which is the Entrepreneur's Operating System.
I used to have the whole stack of them sitting on but I keep giving them away.
Yeah. I mean, they just, you read it and you have to share it.
Yes.
So it's just wonderful. Gino Wickman, Traction, it's phenomenal. I sent it to our operations director out in Texas, Jerome McDonald, who's a wonderful, wonderful man. And so for professionally, that helps me connect. Traction. And then personally, being able to connect with your daughter as she goes through these things as a teenager, even when they're super young, all the way through that book, Strong Fathers, Strong Daughters was helpful.
I love that. I have a 24-year-old daughter and 2 boys on either end. And yes, that's... I love the way you put that. It's funny, Joe will know this. I did we call it a behind the mic celebration, finishing up 2020, and I invited hosts and some VIP guests to be on that Zoom celebration with us. We had about 45 or 50 people, and I wasn't quite sure how to kind of tee it off with some words for me. But I told a story about my dad's life as a professional, VP for Litton Electronics back in the day. Now they're LT, and he's since retired. But he was my lifeline. He was my first love, the person I looked up to. I just moved a couple of weeks ago, and so I have those crazy boxes like, why am I even bringing this to the next house? What's in here? Well, those boxes I've started to open up, and I have letters from my dad when I was up at NAU that I still have, and I'd love to hear that that's been an important part of your journey as a parent, to make sure that you're sending her off the best way you can. Boy, that's the greatest gift we can give our kids, particularly our daughters, right? Yeah.
I need to get that book.
Right.
I need to get that one. Yeah.
3
daughters.
Yeah. Do you? 3 daughters.
So
3 daughters and a boy. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So is there a book that you have?
You know what? Not a specific book. And I 100% am self-learning, is, lifelong self-learning. And I'll probably read, a book's worth a day, but it's usually more, of a research of a topic or research of a book, and then find the cliff notes of it, I guess, and just go on that aspect of it. But as far as a hard copy or a book that will sit and go through, No books, but a lot of self-learning.
research.
Yeah, a lot of research and self-learning.
Yeah. My 13-year-old, that's how he's told me that he's reading the books at school. He's just looking at the dialogue, right? And he's getting that, and then he'll go and he'll research some of the commentary that other readers have had about the book, and instead of reading the whole thing, I'm like, whatever works, dude. He's in all gifted classes, and so far it's working. So I'm gonna. And I never read a book in high school or college. Like I can't even tell you. My grades were not like his. So glad to hear that that's working for you and my little Ivan.
Efficient.
Yes, efficient, right?
Efficiency.
And we can do that with technology these days.
Although the daughter's book, I think I could definitely.
I've got a copy for you.
Definitely sit there.
There you go. And I have to listen to books anymore. So if I'm hiking in the morning or I'm working out, I'm listening to books.
100%. I can do that.
I am really eating them up much quicker than the idea of having to sit down and read the pages. I know that's still really great for our brain, but I just don't do it as often. If I can put on an Audible, I'm good to go.
I got it.
And I've got a recommendation for both of you, Blinkist.
Blinkist.
The Blinkist app, it takes blinks of a book and it gives you a whole book in 12 minutes.
That's
what?
How am I missing that? Where's my research
All
coming
right.
up with that?
That's an app?
I am your research assistant here. It's called the Blinkist. It's like $50 a year, and you get access to all these books, and you can blink them, which is basically an Audible of like 12 minutes for each book. And it gives you the
highlights. It's not just like popping in for a couple. That's phenomenal.
It's wonderful. I think I've blinked like 12 books on a bike ride before.
Well, right. How could you not? All right.
How did I not think of that?
Right. I was just thinking the same thing. It's right up Randy's alley, isn't it? Okay. There's always more. There's another problem to solve. Tim, any books that have been influential in your life?
Right now I'm on the verge of getting remarried at 47. We've got a blended family of 5 teenagers that are coming in the house. So I think every book I'm reading now is about, how do you blend a family with 5 teenagers? When I was in the wireless industry, one of the owners of the company, Barry, he gave me a book, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. And that has been a kind of a staple for me. And there's a lot of things in that book that I still use today. And so as we continue to grow, Servgrow, and, we all know that, people is what makes everything go around. You can throw money at something all day long, but if you don't have the right people, you're going to fail. And so that's just a book that I will probably refer to from time to time. And my efforts just to hire a great team.
Love it. And that's your role right now, growing the team, huh?
Yep.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
So do you want to give a shout out to who or what kind of person you're looking for?
Yeah, as we put together the team, trying to figure out, depending on how our growth is, where the biggest need is, whether it's in sales or whether it's an administrative role or a marketing role, will depend on, the type of person that we're looking for. But certainly with any kind of new business, a new startup, we got to have someone that is flexible, that can understand that maybe not every line of a operation manual has been written yet. And sometimes some of the things we're going to have to do together and figure out. That was one of the things when we were rolling out, from 20 stores to 2,000 stores in the wireless business. Like we had no clue how to roll out 2,000 stores. So we had to write the training manual as we went. And so, I think that would be probably one of the top things that we look for is just someone that could be flexible and willing to share their opinion and give us some ideas on how to run things, but can also follow direction whenever it's needed.
I have no doubt you guys are going to grow the perfect team. You are on LinkedIn, right? As Servgrow, SERVGROW. Also out on the World Wide Web as servgrow.com. Again, no E in serve. Where else? Facebook, Twitter.
Yeah, pretty much everyone.
Of course, you better be after you encourage your customers to do that, right?
That's where
Yeah. Is there anything I hadn't thought to ask, or Derrick, that you had hoped we would cover as well before we close out the segment?
Yeah, guys, any plugs, thoughts about people reaching out, what would people reach out to you for today?
Well, I would say if you own a home service business, we're not only will we help you streamline your business, but we're gonna help you be found online too. We have a couple industries that rank really well from what we're incorporating with Servgrow. So we're just going to implement that, and it should really help generate those customers. And anybody reaching out now definitely will get a free few months to try it out the software as well.
Tim, anything else that you want to add?
No, we appreciate the opportunity to just to talk about the Servgrow a little bit, and we're so excited to really fully launch, and we appreciate Derrick and his team to provide this opportunity, and we look forward to doing many more.
Yeah.
Woot hoot.
Definitely, you've been great.
Oh, yeah, it's been a pleasure. Well, my pleasure. I told the guys as they came in, I wasn't going to do a lot of talking, but I did far more than I had planned to. I hope that's okay. Derrick, anything you want to fade out with?
No, just thank you again, Karen, for bringing us in. We look forward to maybe many more shows. And for those that are out there wanting to connect with us, we're open. Again, we're looking for members of our teams, both on the Servgrow side and on the PMO Squad side. So definitely reach out. We want to serve the community in any way we can.
Yeah. I thought of, Tim, another organization, all those B&I groups, any of those networking groups where as many times as I've sat in those groups, I've never been a member, but as what do you call it? When somebody else can't go? A substitute.
Yeah.
Hello.
A
guest. A sub. Yeah, well, that was hard. But how many times I've heard folks with those home service businesses in those groups, and they do phenomenally well in B&I groups. That might be another place to connect in with some of those B&I leaders as well. So as Derrick knows, that's part of what we do at Business RadioX. So I would love to have a conversation with you guys. My mind is running in all different directions around how this might be a platform, much like it is for Joe with his project management office hours. So on that note, again, I want to thank you. Again, find Servgrow out on the internet. And is it as easy as just reaching out on a contact form on your website to start the conversation?
Exactly. You can just go online and start a free trial and check it out. It's fully working. We're just kind of waiting for that right moment to kind of make it public and get people on it. But
so a free trial.
And we'll reach out once you sign up. We have you might get retargeted a bunch of times too. So don't click on those.
Great. Well, it's been fun to spend time with Servgrow and Derrick with, I was going to say the project management office hours, but that too, the PMO Squad. You've been listening to Phoenix Business Radio, broadcasting from Tempe, Arizona, inside the Max 6 Conscious Workspace. Some media leans left, some lean right, and we lean business. Until next time, I'm Karen Nowicki. Thanks for listening.